All right. Well, first, thanks everyone for being here. Obviously, we're got started on game week. I just had a good Tuesday practice, and trying to put last week behind us and move forward to get ready for a non-conference game, an interstate game against Penn State. Which is a great opportunity for us this week. So, just touching back on last game, I think a lot of credit has to go to Memphis. They made one or two more plays than we made. I think you'll probably look back at the end of the year, as I told our team, and they'll probably end up 9-3 or 8-4 and win or share the conference. And with 2 seconds left, we had the game tied. So, I think we're getting closer. But as long as we have penalties and turnovers and the special teams miscues that we have, we won't win those games. So we're concentrating on us trying to get rid of the penalties. We had 2 penalties with the ball goal to go, which would have hopefully resulted in 2 touchdowns. Neither drive we scored on. Had 2 turnovers, one at the 10-yard line, one at the 15, and a block punt. So despite all that, we hung in the game. I think it's a credit to our defense. They played well. Kenny Harper played extremely well. And as we move forward to this week, we have to eliminate the mistakes to play against an extremely talented, well-coached Penn State team. Looking at them, I think offensively, you start with Hackenberg. He's as good a quarterback as there is in the country, has tremendous arm talent, extremely smart, can make every throw, will challenge you down the field. Hamilton's a tremendous receiver, Belton at running back. Saeed Blacknell's really coming on for them right now. You can see that he's another weapon for them. They have a myriad of really good tight ends and some experience on the offensive line. So offensively, they pose problems. And defensively, John Shoop's done a great job with that defense. I mean, they shut out Indiana last week. They only scored on defense. And you see why they're so effective at what they do. They have a lot of great players on defense. The one that really, really stands out to me is Zettel inside. He's probably the best defensive lineman we'll face this year. Has a 3 technique, extremely active. Then they have a lot of high-end guys. Adrian Amos at safety. They've got Mike Hall at linebacker, who's another great Penn State linebacker. So they have a really talented team, a really good team, and we'll go out there and play as well as we can. So with that, I'll see if you guys have any questions. I think it feels really, to be honest with you, it feels the same. I mean, I don't know how I'll feel when I get there. Maybe once I get there, it feels different. But right now, it's all about this week. I actually showed our guys today, some of Chip's quotes after the game last night and talk about the week of preparation they had. I mean, for me, it's just all about today and what we're getting done today. But it feels about the same to me as any other game right now. Tavon was non-contact, so he just did some drills, and Jalen's still in a boot and crutches.
Coach, what can you do to establish the run against a top defense like Penn State?
They've been outstanding against the run. I think they're giving up like 86 yards a game. So, we're going to have to just find a couple little wrinkles. We found a wrinkle or two last week that allowed us to have a big hit. We have to be willing to run the receivers and the quarterback, and not only are they talented, but they do a good job schematically of just coming at you from all angles. So they take the run away by blitzing and by, schematically just kind of making you uncomfortable. So we're just going to have to see if we can find a thing or two that kind of works for us and plug away at it and be smart. We're going to have to run the football. Even if it's not a great, run kind of like we did against East Carolina, we're going to have to run the football and keep that offense off the field. I have a bunch of offensive linemen that are banged up, that are fighting through, and while it hasn't been what we want it to be, really since Dion got hurt at Tulsa, right? That was the last time kind of those 5 linemen were together and healthy. But I don't know that they can give any more than they're trying to give right now. They're playing hurt, they're playing injured, so we'll just keep trying to do the best we can and see where it takes us, to be quite honest. But I don't think there's anything more we can say to them. I mean, they're giving us all they have right now. They're just banged up.
I think some guys that have been up there before, and you actually have a lot of guys who are going to be making their first trip up there. Is it kind of like a blessing or a curse? Could be a good thing that some guys haven't been up there and they kind of say, all right, cool, but it's like any other game, we'll kind of let loose, or would you rather be taking a more experienced team?
Well, I think just in general, I'd always prefer to have a more experienced team, right? I think this team, even some of the things that we go through on even Friday night, like last Friday night, I think some of the things we go through on a daily basis, we're hoping that as Ioannidis and Matakevich, and we have 20 seniors next year, some of those growing pains they will eliminate. But, I'm not making a big deal about anything. I mean, we've been to Notre Dame. We've been, this is a great stadium. They'll have a great crowd and all that. But at the end of the day, man, it comes down to like blocking and tackling and running and catching. And so, I told our guys, if any of our guys are saying, hey, this is Penn State week, they got the wrong mindset, because I promise you Penn State ain't saying this is Temple week, right? This is Temple football, trying to play Temple football. We didn't play it for 60 minutes on Friday night. We played for about 58 minutes, and we'd like to go play it for 60 minutes and see what happens. So we have a lot of respect for them, but I'm not going to get caught up in anything. But to be quite honest.
Is Alex still your punter?
Yeah, I don't know what we'll end up doing. You know what I mean? We'll practice it through the week and see what happens. I mean, he's been really consistent. He's been really good. Had a bad night the other night. We had some veteran guys on the punt team that went the wrong way to get that punt blocked. I mean, at the end, you get into a championship caliber game and guys go the wrong way or go too far outside. I mean, that really wasn't on him. And the other ones, I think he just started getting inside his own head. He's a young kid, So we'll see either he or Tyler, whoever practices better.
It's been so long since Temple's beaten them. Do you think people on the outside maybe make too much this week? Like you're saying, it's the next game. The players seem to say that. The conference games almost mean more now because you're trying to win your conference.
Yeah, I don't want to demean it. We'd love to go play well. We'd love to win the football game. We'd love to be the first team to do that. But the way you do it is by playing. You know what I mean? And so when you start talking about anything else other than playing, then you're taking yourself away from how to beat them, right? I mean, in the end, all the great years, all the great games between Temple and Penn State, there have been some great games. At the end of the game, when Penn State's won, they've won by picking a pass off. They've won by, 4th and 1 a couple years ago up here, converting. They didn't win because Temple wasn't mentally ready for Penn State week, right? They won because they made the plays. So our guys need to focus on, just like Memphis, we have to go make plays. On offense, we have to make some plays to even have a chance. Special teams, we can't do what we did last week, and defense has to, not give up a game-winning drive at the end of the game. So that's my focus with this team. And if they can do it this week in this environment, then we're a lot further along than we were last week, and then hopefully we can finish the season out doing that. So the key to this game is to go play. No, he got injured. He got knocked out of was it Houston or UCF? UCF, the opening kickoff with a head injury. He hasn't been healthy since. Yeah, he was injured in that game. No idea. I know there's just there's protocols that, we're thankful that we have such a great medical staff and team of doctors that when a kid has a head injury, it just goes directly to them and they handle it.
Going into a hostile environment like Beaver Stadium, is there anything you guys are doing this week in practice, like methods or tricks to kind of get ready for that crowd noise and prepare for that?
Not really. I played a little bit of music there in one of the periods today, but I gotta be honest with you, UCF, they were pumping music in, but it was as loud as we've ever had. We had some problems with it, but we're not. We know the crowd noise, we know what it is, but we're not going to do anything really differently. I think anytime you try to do something different to get ready for a game, then you've already lost the game. So we're going to do what we do. If we have problems, we'll have problems, but we've been up there before, and handled the crowd noise. So yeah, I just think our kids have to recognize it and then move on from it.
Would you rely on somebody like Kenny Harper to kind of get them through maybe early game jitters and stuff like that?
Yeah, I think we're as loose a football team. I've learned early on with this team, like you can't be real tight. I mean, we've got things that would make Coach Paterno roll over. If he saw some of the things I do before the game, but we try to be as loose as we can. And I think that's why we've, since the UCF last game we were really tight before the game was UCF, and that was 17-0 before we blinked. So. We try to just relax and go play. And yeah, you are right. We have some older guys, the Kenny Harpers that are the veteran guys that are going to go, they're going to play no matter where we are. Walking into Notre Dame last year and the bagpipes playing outside. I mean, that was as thrilling. That was something to walk in there, and our kids went out and eventually got themselves playing. So, I'm hoping that we're beyond the point where stadiums and things like that hold us back. But we have enough veteran guys that we just go play. Yeah, and the way I said it, and there's no moral victories, right? I mean, we're angry about it, but my point is this: this team's going to win the conference, right? This team lost to UCLA 42-35, and despite the fact that we had 2 times we had first and goal that were called back for penalties, despite the fact that we had 2 turnovers, one where we're going in to score, one at our own 10-yard line, despite the fact that we had a punt blocked, despite the fact that we what was the last one I was going to say? We missed the sign. Despite all that stuff, we missed a field goal. Despite all that stuff, we're still in it to win the game, right? And so, if they could just see, like, A, how close they are, and then B, also, but how far away you are too, right? I mean, like, you can't keep doing these things and expecting to win. And so, that to me is the next step in growing the trying to grow the program, trying to have them understand what it takes to win those kinds of games. And so, but that's the message from Friday night. Yeah, he's kind of a red zone threat. He's a little bit unpredictable what he's going to do when he's out wide. So we haven't. We tried to feature him a little bit in the UCF game, and it didn't really work out the way we wanted to. And so he's just kind of a role player for us right now.
What would a win against Penn State mean in this program?
I'm not smart enough to know overall. What it would mean. I think for us, it'd just be another step, another win. But they're quite a team, right? They're really, really a talented team. So I don't want to start talking about until we actually did something like that, because we haven't put it together on all three sides of the ball in quite a while. So it'd be exciting for us, I'm sure. But more importantly, you'd have to play really good football to do it. I can't tell you how good this defense is. So for us to beat them would mean we'd have to have executed on offense against them, and that would be quite a task.
Is the line starting to run block better before you now considering what they've been doing for Kenny to get that run off the left side and get that much separation? Are they starting to run block more like what you'd like to see?
I think they're a little bit healthier, so I think that, I'll say this again, for a redshirt freshman D tackle to move over and 2 weeks later start at right guard, I think Chris has done a fantastic job to get Brian Carter at least serviceable in the game. Like people that, maybe don't do this all, that's so hard to comprehend. Like the kid's playing D-line as a freshman, and we move him over to the O-line, and we get him to at least be serviceable in the game, and we have a couple runs, it's just still not where it needs to be, it'll be much better in the long run, but right now we just have to develop. There's no, we're playing with a sophomore and a freshman and 2 juniors, and they've got to make some strides, man. That's not an excuse. Youth is not an excuse ever, right? They've got to keep making strides. So they get a little banged up. As they get healthier, they're playing a little bit better. They were a little bit better against Memphis than they were, the previous weeks.
You played on both sides at Harrisburg, right?
I don't even remember. I think so. I would imagine,
What do you think made him such a, what made him have a quick study and be able to make that transition?
Well, I think Kyle helps him, because Kyle really helped him through the game. He's worked hard at it. Got good coaches. Weeze and Lonnie do a good job. And he's athletic, so, he's just at the very basic rudimentary level of, like, go right, go left. He doesn't really know what he's doing yet, but that's where we are. So he had to help us, and he helped us. And, hopefully, he'll end up being a really, really outstanding offensive lineman in the long run. He's got all the tools to be one of those great ones. So it's just, growing him through it.
John Christopher's still going to be your guy returning class?
Yep. Yeah, I don't really have anybody else right now, to be honest with you, so.
How about Shabazz?
He taped himself up today and tried to practice and really couldn't. So, unless something changes the next couple of days, we'll travel him. He'll probably be an emergency guy on the offensive line.
Matt, what's Avery's status?
Williams? Yeah, sorry, we have like 4 Averys on the team. So, Avery Williams, he practiced today in a yellow jersey, no contact, so he hasn't hit anybody. Just knowing him, I think he'll try to find a way to get out there and play. I'm sure he'll be a little rusty, but he's an emotional leader for us on defense and special teams. We'll need him. Well, I'd say after he got hurt at Houston and UCF, I thought so. I think some guys have really stepped up in the interim. I think Matt Ioannidis and Tyler and Nate D, those guys are just raising what they're doing. I thought they were kind of, I don't know what the right word. They were just really upset with the way they played at Houston and upset with the first quarter at UCF. And from that second quarter on, they've played a lot better. And but I think Avery, he's a playmaker. We need, when you want to win games like that, you need guys to make a play or two. And Avery's a playmaker. He'll go knock a ball out. He'll knock the quarterback's helmet off like he did at Houston. He'll pick a guy up on 3rd and 1 against Navy. He's just that kind of a player. So if he's healthy, he's a real lift.
What's your view of how Hackenberg's played this year? What do you guys think he'll do with that?
Well, I just know how talented he is. You know what I mean? I mean, he makes all the throws. You watch the the Ohio State game. I mean, they give him press man. He throws a fade for a touchdown to Blacknall. I mean, he can just flat sling, and he threw for 400 and some yards against UCF. So he's as really as talented as I've seen. In terms of their scheme and what he does within that, it looks like he operates effectively. I know he moves around the pocket when he's getting pressure, and I just see a guy who's fearless. So.
Penn State's offensive line has been under a lot of fire this year. How can your defense take advantage of that and really get some pressure on Christian Hackenberg?
Well, I think they've done a good job of moving the pocket, throwing three-step, chipping guys. They've tried to in the last couple of weeks help him, and then I anticipate some of those guys being back. Donovan Smith, their left tackle, I think he'll be back, which would let them move, Mangiero back to center. So I think you'd have, maybe they'll have a little bit more health like we're kind of dealing with. But, I see a really good offensive line. Herb Hand, the offensive line coach, is one of the best in the country. So they've played some good people. And some people haven't been, they've just blitzed them. They've just gone all out after them, and that's not really our style. So we'll see what the fellas can do, if they can get to them at all, and if we can cover them, out wide, it'll be interesting. Like I said, I think Blacknall, you can see him really stepping up at wide out, which is changing the complexion of what they're doing offensively.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.